Welcome back to another episode of the First Look Sports Talk. Thank you for tuning in. If you're new to the channel, I'm your host, Angel Dallas Reyes. Got my co-host here.
Jay, what?
All right, without further ado, before we get into this video, as always, subscribe to the channel, share it, let anyone know, like, comment, turn on your post notifications. Just do whatever you got to do to keep us on your feed and on everyone else's as well. Smash that like button. It only helps us and it only helps you. But we're gonna continue to break down these NFL divisions. I know we've gone through mostly all of them though. But we're gonna hit the very, very last one. We got the AFC East. Really good division, dominated by the Patriots for the past 20 years. Finally seeing someone come out this division other than the Patriots. And didn't even see the Patriots in the playoffs. So
big change.
Kudos to this division. They weren't even second. So but we'll get into it. We're gonna start off with the Buffalo Bills. Went 13-3. Really, really good year for them this year. Josh Allen had a little breakout year for them. Did lose some key players. John Brown was solid receiver, and Josh Norman, veteran corner. Did replace John Brown with Emmanuel Sanders though. Able to bring in a veteran receiver that can produce in this league is solid. But basically, they just kept the core of this team intact still. Maybe you can add some veteran receivers, maybe a veteran tight end. I know Zach Ertz is out there looking for a trade, possibly go get him. Because you are kind of picking a little bit later in the draft. So maybe use that first round pick to go get him, or second round pick. I don't know how much they're commanding of him. But that's always a possibility to upgrade. You always want to keep upgrading your team, especially with your quarterback on the rise. I know he had like an MVP type of year last year. So
sure.
You're just going to continue to see that development, and just upgrading his weaponry is always something that just benefits him.
Yeah, I mean, they're right there. This team solidified. Their defense is solid. Their offense is good. It's just they didn't have a lot of experience, I don't think.
Yeah.
They never really been there. Had a lot of guys that have been there and won it. So bringing in some veterans to really bring that culture in, solidify the locker room, things of that nature will take this team to the next level.
Yeah, for sure, because they did make it to the AFC Championship game. But like you were saying, just didn't think Josh Allen, he's only in his third year, hasn't seen that type of success and hasn't been in that type of game, the atmosphere and what you need to do to be able to win those type of games. So yeah, you only learn from that. But getting to break down this offense, second overall offense, third ranked passing, 20th ranked rushing, 31.3 points per game, highest in the NFL. Converted on third down, 49.7%, first in the NFL, 80% on fourth down, and 61.8% in the red zone on touchdown conversions. So great percentages when you needed to convert on those downs. I know you probably want to live up to those numbers again, but it'd be hard to replicate. And then you brought in Stephon Diggs too. He led the NFL with 127 receptions and 1,535 yards receiving. So he led the NFL, kind of took this league for a storm. Crazy to think about that. He got, I forgot what they had to give up. I think it was at least a first round and some more picks. And then you kind of look at those trades side by side with him and DeAndre Hopkins, and Cardinals got a steal in Hopkins compared to what the Bills had to give up for Stephon Diggs.
I think it was worth it though. I mean, you finally gave Josh Allen that number one threat, and that boy Stephon took off with it. He wasn't looking back at all. Like 127 receptions, 1,500 yards. He probably one of the best route runners in the league, if not the best route runner. So
Yeah.
I mean, he's been killing that, and he really led this offense, I believe. Like Josh Allen, he really spread the ball out to a lot of his receivers, but when it came down to it, like Stephon Diggs was that dude.
Yeah. He was out here doing basketball moves on these defenders.
Crossover.
He really does do that. It's funny. But yeah, definitely. You got the number one receiver now. You don't got to worry about that. You got Jared Allen, his best friend, and they kind of clicked. They were on the same page from the start. They had a good relationship, and you can kind of see it with like post game interviews, with them messing around before games. So they had a good relationship, and only translated to the field and the success that they had. But getting over 30 points, that's really good. Third ranked passing. So Josh Allen was spreading the ball around everywhere. I know this team wasn't that good at rushing the ball though. So maybe that's something that they go into the offense kind of trying to improve, because that only helps this offense and helps your quarterback. I know every quarterback would probably love to just hike the ball and hand it off every play and be able to win every game.
Get 3, 4 yards a pop each play.
Yeah.
Only got to throw on certain occasions. I'd be lovely.
Yeah, but take it here. But it's not how it is. But you just got to improve. You want the offense to put out the best product on the field, and I know they do have some running backs and Zach Moss and David Montgomery, but maybe just improve that O line to kind of help that running game
David
be a little bit
Montgomery.
more effective.
Yeah, you said David Montgomery.
Devin Singleton.
Singletary, yeah, he's a
Singletary.
rugby dude, right?
There you go.
He's a rugby dude, I believe.
Was he?
Yeah, I think he played in a rugby league, and then they brought him over. But yeah, I mean, 20th, you're not gonna win a lot of playoff games, especially when it gets cold. Like throwing the ball, it gets a little bit harder in the playoffs. So being able to hand the ball off, go give me 3 yards, get us in third and manageable, and then maybe we could throw the ball a little bit.
Especially in Buffalo, where those late year games in December and it's snowing.
Right.
You can't. I've never played in snow, but I only imagine if the snow is falling, you can't even see your receivers downfield, especially if you're wearing white.
Man,
receivers get blended in.
Terrible.
It'd only be helpful to be able to run the ball and be able to take care of that.
Right.
That's funny though. But yeah, we'll take a look at the defense. 16th overall, 13th ranked passing, and 17th ranked rushing. Kind of middle of the pack with all their percentages, allowing opponents to almost get 40% on third down, 59.9% on fourth, and then allowing them to score 65.5% in the red zone on touchdown conversions. They gave up 4.6 yards a carry, so that was a little bit of weakness for them. Top 10 blitzing team, blitzing 35.8% of the time. And yeah, they did. That was one of their weaker points, is just running, letting these teams run on them. So definitely, you don't want that. You want to stop the run first and foremost. I would say that would be my, if I was like a DC, that would be my vocal point, because if you stop the run, you force them to pass, and then they get predictable.
Right. Make it one-dimensional, then you can pin back those dudes, start sending them, blitzing, whatever you want to do. I mean, they have some real young talent on the outside. And in the secondary, I know they got Micah Hyde, they got Tre'Davious White, some real good caliber secondary dudes. Their defense was good. Like, I mean, when I would watch them, they seemed like they were always there. They would make it plays. Other than that one play where Josh Norman just got annihilated by Derrick Henry, like I didn't really see too much other than him. But
I got one play.
You don't play.
Hail Murray.
Oh, I don't know how you let them catch that, but
that shows greatness.
I can't even lie. I was tight for him. Like
I was watching that game live.
I remember they was looking around like,
yeah, that catcher won me like $800 too. So I was hyped.
He was bet on that one.
Yep, I won me $800. I was like,
Yeah, I wish I could do that. I wish.
but yeah, but ever since that play though, they kind of never lost. That was like their turning point in the season. They were on like the wrong end of that play, and Cardinals kind of went down, Bills kind of went up, and they were
Mm-hmm.
maybe that was like the turning point that they needed. Like, all right, guys, no more messing around. We can't let that stuff like that happen to us. And they kind of went on a winning streak and were dominating everyone, put themselves on the map.
They went on a streak for sure. They got hot at the right time. That offense started really slinging the ball. Um, this with the defense, I mean, you just try to find ways to get better in the details.
Yeah.
See if you could bring in some more vets that can replace some guys that you lost. Um, but yeah, focusing on the run game. If you could be a little bit better there, I would just make the whole team better. Like we said, make them one dimensional, and it would become the game becomes more easy at that point.
Yeah, you definitely want to improve the run game on both sides of the ball. Like we say,
Right.
you're paying in Buffalo. When you get to these December games and snowing, and it's windy, these teams are going to run the ball. So you definitely want to be able to stop that, and then you definitely want to be able to run the ball to protect
Right.
it.
Get to work on the
Um,
trenches.
yep, exactly. So that's one area that we can both see them kind of improving that they need to focus on, because you got your quarterback, you got your receiver, you can pass the ball, no question about that. And then this defense, a little bit better than the past defense. You got them secondary guys that are solid. So just improve for sure. They had the 30th pick in the NFL draft. Not a lot that they can really do as far as like grabbing one of these top guys. But just grab the best player available. I always say, like, when you're in the back end in the first round, just grab the best player available. Maybe use that pick and go get an offensive lineman, a D lineman, that's a starter, Pro Bowl starter. Um, yeah, you just definitely want to improve and just build on this season, build on your success for sure.
Yeah, I would suggest O line, D line. I know they got Edmonds, was a really nice linebacker,
Yeah,
super fast, flies around, get to the ball. Um,
I got
but just
Milano
really,
too, up underrated.
yeah,
Matt Milano.
just really just focusing on the trenches and on the little details and see if you could get some more veteran guys in there. But with the draft pick, um, moving back, collecting assets, or maybe trading that number one pick for a starter that you know is going to be a starter. That's always an option. But really, I mean, maybe if you can get one of these running backs to fall to 30, snatch them up around there. I know we last year we saw Edwards, Clyde, what's his name?
Clyde Edwards Hilaire.
Hilaire.
Yeah. He ran
Yeah.
all of them when they played him.
Yeah, but he was like the 32 picks, 32nd
Mm-hmm.
pick. Um, Maybe I could see another running back going around there
True. That
for
would be
this
good.
team.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the trenches is really what's going to win them, especially in the playoffs, win
Yeah.
them games.
Take them to that next level that they can unlock. Yeah, we're going to take a look at the next team in this division. I'm really excited about this team. This organization wasn't really known to be really good, to be honest. And now over the past couple years, they've just been able to rack up draft capital and just been able to hit and just been very impressive with their moves. We're talking about the Miami Dolphins. Um, Brought in some key guys. McKinney, a linebacker from the Texans. Jacoby Brissett, the backup Tua. Malcolm Brown, and then Will Fuller to kind of stretch that offense as well. Did lose Ryan Fitzpatrick, Kyle Van Noy, and Shaq Lawson. You can't keep everyone.
Right.
But made a big splash recently, trading the third overall pick to the Niners to to kind of drop down to the Niners, number 12. And they got a 3rd-round pick as well, and then 2 first-round picks within the next 2 years. But they weren't done there. They were not done. They had a plan, they executed it. They went after that trade. They went from 12, hit up the Philadelphia Eagles. Like, hey, we got number 12. We can offer you another pick, and one of the first-round picks that they got from the Niners, and they went up to 6, and also got 156 overall as well. So they're able to kind of move back and then use that draft capital that they got to kind of move up and put themselves back in position to grab one of these offensive weapons for Tua. So that was just, they knew they had a plan going into that. Because, a lot of these teams, I know Broncos, Panthers, and the Niners, they all needed to trade up, and the Dolphins were in a prime spot picking 3rd overall. They didn't need a quarterback. So they were in a spot to kind of trade back and get some more draft capital. And they were able to do that, trading back a little bit further than you thought. But then they traded up with Philly to get that 6th overall pick.
Yeah, I mean, it was impressive. Like, even the past few years, they've just been collecting. They've been finding ways to collect picks. Yeah. And you can see it's working. I mean, they went 10-6 last year. And their coach it seems like they really bought into the culture that he's preaching. I think he's another one of those Belichick disciples. So it seems to be like it's working to me.
One of the few.
I don't.
One of the few that's putting it together.
Yeah, one of the few of the coaches that's really getting it to go. So, I mean, this team has always been exciting. I mean, I've always loved their uniforms, and who doesn't like to play in Miami? So it's a Miami team. It could be real good, like especially with Tua. Tua's taking some next steps next year. Yeah. Hopefully he could just be the solidified starter. Hopefully he got enough experience. I know he talking about, I thought the NFL was gonna be harder than this, and then the next game he gets pulled. So, I mean, it's a learning process, but this team is heading in the right direction for sure.
Yeah, for sure. They're kind of putting their faith in Tua now, because I know that they stayed at 3. They can always pick a quarterback if they didn't believe in Tua, because they have all these picks too. Why not go get one of these quarterbacks? And if he's better than Tua, then you hit, But I say just be patient with Tua. He's still kind of recovering off that hip injury, something that you don't see these athletes go through every day. So, he's still kind of getting his fast twitch muscles still. He's still kind of recovering. He probably wasn't at full strength. But, just he didn't have an offseason, a normal offseason. I know this year they're more leaning towards a normal offseason, being in person and all that. So just stay patient with Tua, I would say, because he's a master at the RPO game, getting the ball out quick, hitting those first reads. But yeah, offense, 15th overall, 20th ranked passing, 22nd ranked rushing, 38.6% on 3rd down, bottom half of the NFL. So you want to improve in that.
Right.
But they only had 74 penalties, top 5 in the league. So very disciplined, not committing too many penalties. But this offense started off with Ryan Fitzpatrick, and then they gave Tua the reins basically. All right. They obviously saw something from Tua in practice to be able to trust him and put him out there. Mm-hmm. So they saw something from him, or maybe they just they saw all these quarterbacks in the draft. So they're all right. Let's see what Tua's got to kind of see an audition, basically, if they can either stay with him or if he's not cutting it, they can go get one of these quarterbacks. But I do believe that they saw something from Tua, and they're able to kind of build around him now.
Right. 74 penalties, just showing to that culture, preaching to the culture, like they're disciplined. Mm-hmm. And I see right here, he do need some more weapons. Like he do have Parker on the outside. He's a solid number 1.
Gesicki, tight end. But that's about it.
Yeah, I can't think of any other players on this team.
They brought in Will Fuller, so that's a part of the offense. They can unlock. But you still need some more. Maybe another tight end, maybe Kyle Pitts.
You know who their
Max.
back is?
He's a little dude. From Gaskin, Miles Gaskin.
Mm.
So maybe upgrade running back. I know he's not your every down back. I would say. I know they probably featured him this past year. But he can't do it all. Maybe they do have 2 first-round picks. Picking 6 now and the 18th. So 6, they can go get a receiver. 18, they can go get a running back.
Mm.
Maybe team up. Bring the band back together a little bit with Alabama. Go get Najee Harris at 18, and then one of these Alabama receivers at 6.
That would be crazy. I will be crazy.
Bring some familiarity to Tua, make him feel more comfortable.
That would be nice. I would like that move.
For sure. But yeah, offense was kind of mediocre. They probably held this team a little back this past year, but this team is still very young. You still are getting better and better every year. Just have some patience. Have some patience a little bit, maybe a year or two. Because this defense was balling this past year. 6th overall, 23rd ranked passing defense, 16th ranked rushing. Number 6 scoring defense, 21.2 points per game. Number 1 in conversions against, only allowing opponents to convert 31.2% on third, 46.2 on fourth, and then 57.4 in the red zone. So top tier there. 41 sacks, top half of the NFL. 18 interceptions, tied most in the NFL. Led by Xavier Howard, having 10 picks, double-digit picks.
Ridiculous.
29 takeaways as well, most in the NFL. I think it was a little period stretch of games where they had defensive touchdown in every game.
The defense was really the definition of like bend, don't break. You see, they gave up a good amount of passing yards and rushing yards, but when it came down to it in the red zone, third down, fourth down proficiency, they were the top of the league. And that gets your defense off the field. Number 6 overall in scoring defense. That means they're giving up 3, not 6 in the red zone.
Yep.
And they take the ball away at a high clip. Get the ball back to your offense. Let them get a couple more opportunities with good field position. And then Xavier Howard you can't ask for anything better than that. I think he got snipped too. Like he could have been the defensive player of the year as well. Like double-digit picks.
That's hard.
People don't even get that in their career. Like he get that in one season. So shout out to him.
Yeah, for sure. His defense very churn over. They just make plays all over the field, and that's something that you can feed off of, and that energizes and kind of shifts the momentum back to you as well when you can make these big plays. And they were just setting up the offense in good position too with these takeaways. But yeah, maybe they probably won't replicate a lot of these with so many turnovers. I know teams will probably see that and probably take care of the ball a little bit more, be a little more hesitant to what they do.
Stop throwing the ball towards that man.
Yeah, he had a one-handed interception too at one point.
Hard. That was hard.
But yeah, this defense only didn't really lose anyone, probably just adding. So yeah, probably replicate the same thing. Just kind of this offense needs to pick up the slack a little bit. They can easily do that. We'll look ahead towards the draft. With all the moves they made, they still got the number 6 pick, 18th pick, and they have 5 picks in the first 3 rounds as well. Maybe they have 6 now too. I'm gonna update that because they picked up a 3rd round from the Niners. But yeah, add more weapons, get more weapons. Running back and receiver is something that are very vital for offensive success. And you have the chance in this draft to definitely do that. With either go get Najee Harris or Travis Etienne, and then get one of these top receivers, and you put yourself in a prime position to get one of those because you're still picking 6. So you think quarterbacks 1, 2, 3, maybe 4. And then you put yourself, maybe Kyle Pitts gets picked, Jamar Chase. So then you have your choice between Jaylen Waddle and Devontae Smith. Or maybe Kyle Pitts falls. You could kind of just pick whoever falls to you at that point. But do your due diligence and pick the best player available, basically, and fits your offense and what you want to do.
Right. I mean, I don't know if you could go wrong with any of those guys. But I would definitely like to see they got to get some more help for Tua,
Hmm.
especially if you want to go for him long term. I could also see them going like offensive line.
Yeah.
O line would be kind of cool for them because, like we say, you can't have a centerpiece and then not protect him. And he's already been hurt. See if he were to get hurt again, that might be raps for him. So
Yeah.
um, I would like to see threats, offensive line, defense is pretty stacked, solid. Maybe getting some more depth in the later rounds. I know they had a ton of draft picks, so uh, you can't have them all, but I think they're heading in the right direction.
Yeah, for sure.
And they also got some cap too, so we'll see what they do, how they spend that money.
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely have the amount of picks to kind of keep churning this organization around and make it compete even top of the conference if they hit on these picks and Tua continues to develop in the right direction. Because I believe they have like some more first rounders next year as well. So they have solidified and put themselves in position to be able to succeed. They just gotta um, trust the process, basically trust their coaching staff, their scouting staff, and just hit on these picks. 'Cause those are very vital. We'll take a look at another team in this division, though. Got the New England Patriots going 7-9. I know it's kind of weird saying that they had a losing record. Ton of cap space that they had this offseason, and they took full advantage of it. They did lose some players, though. Marcus Cannon, Joe Thuney, and then James White. But they took care of that, being big spenders in free agency, spending over $100 million, maybe almost 200 million, giving out that much money. I know Bill Belichick is not really known to do that, but he obviously saw something that needed to be fixed. So they go out there and get Trent Brown. I know he used to play for the Patriots, got him back from the Raiders, re-signed Cam um, to a 1-year contract, I believe
Yeah,
so.
one. I think it was 1 year, like
Yeah,
9 million or something like that.
yeah, something like that. But then they also went out free agency and grabbed two really good tight ends, Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith. Picked up Matt Judon, Nelson Aguilar, Kendrick Bourne, Jalen Mills, Henry Anderson. So they went out there and they saw an opportunity, basically, and like, hey, we're not gonna have another losing record. Especially probably Bill Belichick sitting back and seeing Tom Brady win a Super Bowl. He's like, okay, I see how it is. I don't need to
You
go
gotta
out
come with
there.
it now.
Yeah, you gotta
With
gotta
it.
show what kind of coach you are now, Bill.
But to Bill's defense, they had a lot of guys who opted out this last season due to
Yeah,
COVID. So they'll
a
get
lot.
some key guys back, especially on their defensive side of the ball. And you seen that they spent a lot of money on the offense side of the ball. Hopefully, guys like N'Keal Harry can start making that 2-3 year leap and start producing a little bit more for these guys. Cam showed to me that he can still win games. His arm might not be what it is, but we knew what Cam's arm was since he was at Auburn. Um, he really is just a big physical guy that he can tote the rock and he can manage a game. I like to
Yeah,
see him be able to get back to his deep ball. I know he used to love deep ball at Carolina, but that's really not this offense. What this offense is built off of. So um, then more methodical game manager, run the ball down your throat, play action pass, quick game, screen you to death. So
yeah,
I mean, the recipe there is there. We know they win games. I mean, they won their division like 20 years in a row or something crazy. So um, I really don't know what to expect from this team. Um, I'm gonna assume that they'll get back to double digit wins. I don't know if they'll win the division because this is kind of getting a tough division now. But we'll see how Bill Belichick handles it.
yeah, for sure. Um, they definitely. I kind of foresee this offense. Them signing the two tight ends, kind of getting back to their roots when they had Gronk and Aaron Hernandez, and they kind of just playing really good defense at the same time. Like you were saying, they did have the most opt outs in the NFL with 8. I know Patrick Chung did retire though. He was one of the opt outs. He did retire.
Chung.
But they get back Hightower. They still got solid corners and Gilmore and J.C. Jackson. He had like 8 picks, so he really solid for this team. Still got the McCourty brothers. So they brought back Kyle Van Noy too. I saw that recently. So they're basically just reloading, basically not rebuilding, just reloading. It kind of just depends on Cam too. I know probably don't expect him to kind of read the field and do too much. Probably why they brought these tight ends to kind of, hey, just dump it off them and let them do the work. We'll design plays. You kind of just let them do the work. Nelson Aguilar, Kendrick Bourne, just have them do slants or something easy. Kind of just breaking it down and making it easier for Cam maybe. And he can always, like you were saying, he can easily run the ball. But yeah, I think a lot of these, obviously they overpaid. Every team overpays in free agency. That's what free agency is for. A lot of these players like to hit the market to get paid. That's the reason for it. But yeah, we'll take a look at this offense this past year. 27th ranked, 30th passing, 4th rushing. Only averaged 20.4 points a game, 6th worst in the NFL. Did have 146.6 rushing yards a game, so solid there. Only 12 passing touchdowns to 14 interceptions. So you definitely got to improve that for sure. And then only 62 penalties, though. So least in the NFL, very disciplined team, what you expect from a Bill Belichick type team. But yeah, obviously you need to improve the passing and continue to run the ball really well.
Yeah, you see a few games where Cam really struggled and there was some interceptions that were kind of bad, but he didn't really have threats. Let's just keep it real. Like, that's why Tom Brady left. Tom Brady would love to have retired a Patriot, but he knew he wasn't going to win with the guys built around him. He kind of felt like Bill Belichick was pushing him out. But now, I mean, there's really no excuse. You win in free agency, you bought all these dudes up, you got your 2 tight ends, you got some solid wide receivers now. It's really, can Cam put it together? And I have the utmost faith in Cam. I mean, as a leader of your franchise, he might be a little bit flamboyant and out there, but he can have guys believe in him. And if you had any QB to take the reins after Tom Brady, a mentally tough guy like Cam is exactly what you need. And I'm glad he decided to come back and kind of give another try at it. Because last year, you didn't really see the Cam that we all expect.
Yeah,
the Patriots that we all expect.
I was getting a little frustrated with him because there'd be games where he wasn't even passing over 200 or even 150. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah, it was frustrating. I can't even imagine like going through that. Like you going from an MVP to, I can't even get 100 yards in the game passing yards.
And there'd be games too where he got benched.
He got pulled.
Yeah, he was kind of like maybe like a little bit of reality check for him, kind of like it's not your game, maybe kind of just get back to the drawing board, stuff like that. But you definitely need to improve this passing, because if you can't pass the ball, you're not going to be successful at all in this league. I know there were games though where he was able to pass the ball and have some success in Seattle. I know against the Texans, he was having some success there as well. But you just want to see more consistency at the same time. I know Cam will put in the work, put himself in the best possible spot to be able to succeed. But yeah, I know they obviously spent a lot of money because they obviously saw a problem with this offense and like, hey, we can't have this again. We got to improve this, that, and hopefully that is what they needed, and they can kind of, like you said, win double digits again. And I think it's really possible.
Yeah. So you look to the draft.
Yep. We'll take a look at the defense real quick. Seventh overall
Oh,
defense, eighth ranked passing, and then 26th ranked rushing. Um, Getting up 4.5 rushing yards a carry, 131.4 rushing yards a game. Seventh scoring defense, only giving up 22.1 points a game. 18 interceptions, tied most in the NFL, and then only 24 sacks, so tied sixth worst in the NFL. Not getting after the passer as well as they should. But that really solid though, because they did have, like we were saying, the most opt outs in the NFL. And a lot of those guys were on this side of the ball that were starters. Patrick Chung, um, Hightower. I know some other guys opted out as well that were like second stringers, but rotational guys. So they were able to kind of take advantage of the opportunity. The guys that kind of came in, like I said, J.C. Jackson, he had like 8 picks, I believe. So he kind of put his name on the map and kind of solidified that number 2 corner spot with Stephon Gilmore on the other side.
yeah. I think when they come back, they'll be all of what they were, if not better. I think that's just another testament to Bill Belichick, just a great defensive mind, schematically, and knowing taking away what an offense does best. He always is going to do that. So if you're a most
Yeah,
explosive team, he's going to no big plays. If you run the ball well, he's going to load the box. So I mean, being able to just be versatile in your defense and schematically being so good that it don't matter who's in there, as long as they are doing their job and being disciplined, this defense is gonna be good.
yeah, for sure. Do need to improve a little bit in the rushing defense. They can easily do that. They brought in some guys on the D line interior to kind of help that out. And then getting back some guys as well. Maybe pick some guys up in the draft. Maybe late free agency. They don't have to be done. They can go get some more guys. But yeah, solid defense. What you kind of expect from a Bill Belichick type defense. Always really have been good on defense. On usually both sides of the ball. But yeah, Tom Brady. That's you don't really see that all the time with this team having the success they had. I think they went to like 8 consecutive AFC Championship games. They're either the number 1 seed or number 2 seed every year. So this is like a year that you really don't see going 7-9. The type of probably a disappointment of a year for them because we really are not used to seeing this type of season from them.
Mm-hmm. I'm kind of surprised that they even won this many games, to be honest. Like
Yeah,
when you dominate for so long, like when you see with the Warriors, they were just dominant for so long. And then once they had an off year, they just fell off. Like
yeah,
with this team, like we went 7-9, almost went even. So
yeah.
I mean, that's probably another testament just to great coaching around there.
Yeah, it
Um,
brings this team like back to reality a little bit.
right. I think they'll be very motivated to get back to playoffs, very motivated to win the division. Um, Especially with Cam. Cam's one of the most motivated individuals I think in the game right now.
Yeah, for sure. He definitely has a chip on his back, and I know he doesn't want to go
Yeah,
out like that.
right. He got to come. He got to bounce back.
But yeah, we'll look ahead in the draft. Have the 15th pick. Never know what Bill Belichick has up his sleeve, basically. I know beginning I thought maybe Mac Jones possibly with that Bill Belichick Nick Saban connection. He basically can know everything about him. But then we don't really know. These quarterbacks are really sought after. So if you need to go get a quarterback, you have to trade up. Maybe they do that, maybe not.
Nah,
But who
nah.
knows? We'll kind of see. You never know with Bill Belichick. Every time we expect them to do something, they do the exact opposite. And every time like Bill Belichick selects someone, all these executives and general managers and scouts like, hey, what did we miss there? What did we miss there? Because this team was so successful. They feel like they hit on every player.
Yeah, I mean, as of lately, like I don't know, some of the criticism is Bill Belichick a good GM?
True.
So I mean, scouting personnel and building a team, those kind of go hand in hand. But I don't know. I don't see, just from past experience, past knowledge, I don't see Bill Belichick trading up to go get anyone. But if Mac were to fall, I don't know. Why not? Why not get you a quarterback right there? Let him sit a year behind Cam. Maybe if Cam struggles a little bit, be able to have this dude come in and replace him. Um, but I mean, if I had to guess, I would say a threat, maybe a running back. I mean, I know Bill Belichick was at Bama's pro day, so Najee, Mac, uh, I don't know. I mean, Patrick Chung, or not Patrick Chung, was Surtain, Patrick
Yeah.
Surtain.
Yep.
He's a corner that could go around that 15 spot around there. So I don't really know. Bill Belichick, like you said, he's unpredictable.
Yeah. Yeah. He really is. But we can kind of put a player who we think is best for them, but we never know with Bill Belichick. He can see some guy from a small school maybe and grab him out of left field, and he's over
All
here
right.
being a starter and produces for them. So we never know with them, to be honest.
That's facts.
But we'll take a look at the last team in this division, the New York Jets, going 2-14. I know they started probably off like 0-10, 0-11, or 12. They just were not. It was not it for them with Adam Gase. He was just on the last leg of his with the Jets. So they do have a little culture change, bringing in Robert Saleh, defensive coordinator from the 49ers.
That's very true.
Key losses, they do lose their center and D tackle, but they bring in Carl Lawson, a young DN from the Bengals, Corey Davis, a solid receiver from the Titans, had a little breakout year. So yeah, maybe Robert Saleh can kind of flip this team around and start putting them in the right direction, because this is like another historic franchise. They're in a big market in New York. So you definitely, if they're succeeding, this only helps like the NFL. This only helps everything around it.
Yeah, the cities.
But with that new head coach, where does that leave Sam Darnold? Do they try and trade him? Do they hold on to him and kind of let him compete with, if they draft a quarterback? Do you hold on to Sam Darnold and pick someone up like a weapon or offensive tackle? We don't know. It's kind of a in-house thing, kind of for them to decide. I know if I was probably the Jets, I would probably trade Sam Darnold and go get Zach Wilson, because you only have like 2 more years of Sam Darnold, then you got to pay him. Where if you were to draft Zach Wilson, you get 5 years of a guy on a rookie contract. So that is something that they can consider. But you have to have, got to change this team and kind of flip it around and start heading in the right direction for sure.
Yeah, I mean, excuse me.
Eon.
I don't know. I feel like they're gonna rock with Sam Darnold. I just have a weird feeling that they're gonna rock with him, and they'll either go get a threat for him, or someone to protect. Hopefully, they can have some more consistency in their coaching staff. Hopefully, Sam Darnold doesn't have to have another coach. I think he's already on 2 coaches. This is about to be his 3rd, I believe. So, in 3 years, or 3 and 4 years, that's a lot of coaching changes. So, but really, that their offense just, they didn't really have nothing. They went and got Le'Veon Bell. Didn't do nothing for him. They had Jamal Adams. He wanted out. So I mean, they didn't really get too much back for these dudes. I mean, they got draft capital for
For
Jamal,
Jamal, yeah.
but Le'Veon like brought him in, paid him all his money, didn't do jack squat for you. So,
He was hurt
so
most of the time.
yeah, I mean,
And he
they just
started his rap career.
started, I don't know. I don't even know. I think he moved to the Chiefs,
Yeah, he's a
right?
free agent right now.
Yeah, no one's gonna pick
Because
him up.
I think they either released him or bought him out of his contract, and he went to the Chiefs, and now he's a free agent.
Mhm. Yeah.
But yeah, for sure. I do think there is still a possibility of Sam Darnold being their quarterback. Because they just really never put him in the right situation to be able to succeed, in my opinion. Because you never surrounded him with talent. The offensive line was terrible. I know they kind of hit on Mekhi Becton last year. That dude is huge.
Mhm.
Um, he just has to stay healthy, maybe get his weight down a little bit more to be able to stay healthy. Um, but you hit on him. That's your left tackle for the next 10 years, hopefully. Um, but if they fall in love with Zach Wilson, he's a generational talent, then you got to go with him. If you believe he's better than Sam Darnold, you got to look at it. Is it who's better at this point? If whoever's better, you got to go with them. Kind of trust your gut instincts. Because if you don't, and if you don't draft Zach Wilson, he goes out there and balls, then that's your fault. You're probably going to get fired, especially if Sam Darnold doesn't perform and kind of doesn't do what he expect him to do.
Yeah. I mean, I think this coaching, they're not going to come in without a game plan, like you
Yeah,
say.
for sure.
So they came in probably with a game plan. Whatever the owner really spoke to the owner is probably why he got the position for this job. Um, but they need a lot of help,
Yeah,
offense and defense. So it's not just simply Sam Darnold's fault that this team has been losing so much. So
for sure.
they gotta figure out a lot of things.
Yeah, we thought they were tanking for Trevor Lawrence at first because
Yeah, I
they
thought it was a
gave up
bet.
they gave up that Hail Mary basically to the Raiders on last play.
Oh my,
Blitz like 8 people.
what else? Engage 8.
But I kind of saw that too because the play right before that, they kind of sat back and they almost caught another touchdown, but it went in between the dude's hands. So I think Greg Williams kind of like, I'm not gonna lose like that. I'm gonna blitz, and then they lost again. Um,
Yeah, I mean,
but we thought they were tanking, and then they go out there and beat the Jets, or they beat the Rams. I don't know how.
yeah, that was on.
That was a big upset. Um, but yeah, we'll take a look at the offense. 32 overall offense, 31st ranked passing, and 23rd rushing. 15.2 points per game, a league worst. 32 in conversions, only averaging 34% on third, 38.9 on fourth, and then 42.1 in the red zone on touchdown conversions.
Mm,
So not converting at all. Only 9 rushing touchdowns, tied worst. 75.9% passer rating, third worst in the NFL. So really, I know Sam Darnold has been hurt a lot too. So can you really rely on him? Because I know Joe Flacco was in there probably a third of the season.
mhm.
So can you really rely on Sam Darnold? I know you probably have to go back and watch a lot of the tape, see the flashes that he's had. Because I think he's still only like 23, 24 years old. So
He's
this
pretty.
dude is really young at the same time. But yeah, you got to get a running back maybe. Because only 9 rushing touchdowns. I know they had Frank Gore last year. Like he's not gonna last. He's probably a free agent and probably retiring right now.
He should. I mean, he had a great career. It's just
Yeah,
he's
but
not going to take your team to the next level.
this team just wasn't doing a lot, and you didn't really expect them to do a lot at the same time.
Right.
But yeah, hopefully they can just kind of improve, kind of hit the reset button with this coaching staff and the offense and defensive side of the ball. Um, Take a look at the defense: 26th overall, 28th ranked passing, 12th ranked rushing. It's a little bright spot right there. 26th scoring defense, allowing opponents to score 28.6 points per game. 99 penalties as well, tied 7th worst. But they did have some bright spots. Quentin Williams, first round draft pick last year, did kind of turning around, was hitting on the right spots, and then Marcus May too was really good for them as well, kind of under the radar, taking over the reins with Jamal Adams leaving.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah,
so
no,
yeah,
the defense could be better in passing. Like we said, a little Hail Mary to the Raiders. I don't know what dude was doing, why he was breaking on a double move on the last play of the game, knowing that they need a touchdown to win.
yeah,
I'm not sure what was going through the guy's mind,
this dude should have been
but
like
hey,
20 yards deep, just backpedaling as soon as I hiked the
yeah,
ball.
they should have just opened up and
Yeah.
just
Henry
crossover around the
Ruggs.
whole time. But like, I don't know why he thought he was doing a curl for the last play of the game.
Yeah,
I'm
it was a
not
double
sure.
move. It was a double move.
It
I
was like a
forgot.
10-yard curl and go. Like,
Yeah,
why
and
would
he
you even
bit.
think about breaking on that? Like, but
That
it's
just
whatever.
shows to the team discipline, the
Right.
coaches
Culture.
not letting them know, not putting them in the right position. Like, hey, he might do this. Just backpedal. Don't do
Man.
nothing else. Just backpedal. That's all you had to do. All he had to do. Um, but yeah, terrible offense. Not so good on defense. I know they had some bright spots. They do have some key players, but you just got to continue to add to those players and
Mhm.
build around. I know Robert Saleh um, had a really good defense with the Niners, so hopefully he can kind of come in, turn this defense around, and start building a culture as well. Um,
Right.
but yeah, I think you just got to look ahead to the draft, having the second
Yeah.
overall pick. I know a lot of mock drafts have them getting Zach Wilson. I know that's kind of a lock in some people's minds, but who really knows? Because we're not in that organization. We're not in those conversations between the coach and the general manager, the coaching staff. Um, but if not Zach Wilson, then they obviously go get a weapon or a line help, or
Mhm.
maybe trade back if they surprise someone. Maybe trade back and get some more draft capital to put more players out there because you're not picking second overall because you only need a quarterback. You have multiple holes that you need to
Mhm.
fill.
That's
Um,
fact. I think the most interesting part about this team is just the draft. Like, what are they gonna do? Are they gonna stick with Sam Darnold, or are they gonna?
yeah,
Because I know they got a whole bunch of draft picks. Are they gonna go try to get Deshaun, or you feel me?
true.
What's the move for this team? And it's really a lot in the air, and we getting closer and closer to that time. So I'm excited to see really what they do. New coaching staff really don't have an idea of what they are going to do.
Yeah,
But other than mock drafts, I mean, Zach Wilson, I don't know. I'm not too sold on him. I know he didn't play a lot of elite defenses, and the one uh, good defense that he did see kind of gave him some fits. Um, but I saw another analysis of him was just that he didn't face a lot of pressure
yeah. He
and
had a
he
good
didn't
O
have a
line
lot of
though.
guys in his face, so he could sit back and just be comfortable in the pocket. And that's not what's going to happen if he steps into this role with the Jets. So
Yeah, I know.
I don't
I
know.
know
We'll
one
see.
thing with this coaching staff is they kind of brought over the Mike Shanahan offense, where you kind of
Mhm.
have that running scheme and then play action, get out the pocket, and throw on the run, and that kind of fits Sam Darnold a little bit, but that fits perfect with Zach Wilson as well. If you think Zach Wilson is a better thrower on the run, then you go get him.
Mhm.
Because on his pro day, he was just showing what he can do with his arm, basically throwing off platform, throwing across his body, um, rocking his hips, basically, and just able to sling that ball.
All
Um,
arm too. I was impressed by his
yeah,
arm.
the torque that you saw from his hips was crazy. And he was pretty accurate as well at the same time. But like you were saying, he didn't really see. He plays at BYU, so you don't really see a lot of top-notch defenses. They had a really good O line. So there are always going to be people out there that are in love with him because of what he can do, his arm talent, and there's always going to be those doubters, always, no matter what. You
Mhm.
still got Tom Brady doubters out there. He can't do it again. He can't do this. So it's always going to be there. But we'll see what this team wants to do. They're in a great spot to kind of turn this franchise around, but they definitely have to hit because if not, they're going to be looking for another head coach if they don't turn this
Mhm.
franchise around.
Yeah, they got a lot of draft picks. Don't waste them.
Yeah,
You got a lot.
definitely.
Either if you're gonna go trade and go get some guys, make sure they solidify dudes for you.
Yeah,
And if you go through the draft, make sure you hit on them.
yeah,
And
for
that's how you'll
sure,
turn this team around.
for sure. We're gonna go ahead though, kind of wrap this division up, AFC East, with our division winners. Um, I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna go ahead and pick the Bills. 13-3 last year. I don't know if they can do that again. Maybe 13-4. Maybe 12-5. But who knows? I only see Josh Allen getting better and kind of building on his campaign last year. He has that connection with Stephon Diggs. Don't see that dropping off. Got Emmanuel Sanders as well, so the solid number two receiver. We still got Cole Beasley. Got solid tight ends. Hopefully, they just improve the running game to kind of help him out. And that defense, you got solid players over there as well with Edmonds, linebacker, White, corner. Maybe go get a solid pass rusher because you definitely need that, or maybe some interior D line to help stop that run game. Um, but this team has been getting better every season since they drafted Josh Allen. So hopefully they can still kind of continue that trend and win another division title, which I know is great for the city of Buffalo. I know they call themselves Bills Mafia. Great for the city. It's probably the only thing this city has because they don't have basketball. Oh, they have hockey because it's up there in the east. But they don't got baseball. They don't got basketball. So this is what that city lives for on Sundays. They wait on Sundays, and it's that atmosphere that makes Buffalo so special up there.
Right. I mean, I feel like Buffalo's here to stay, but I don't know. I just got a weird feeling about the Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're gonna put it together. I want to see if Tua can make this jump, first, second year jump, and see what they do in the draft with these picks. I think their offense is going to be bounce back, and their defense was already pretty solidified. So,
Yeah.
the coaching staff they have there, the culture they have there, the city. Um, I don't see why the Dolphins can't start making a push for the winning this division. Also, the Patriots. I would expect the Patriots to come in and make a pushback too. I really this division for me is up for grabs. And I
Yeah.
think they're all right there. If I had to choose one, I'm gonna go with the Dolphins. A little surprise pick, the Dolphins.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a three-man race basically with the Bills, Dolphins, and Patriots kind of in that order. But it's anyone's race. Can't predict injuries, can't predict certain plays going a certain way, ball bouncing a certain way. So it'll definitely be an interesting division to kind of look out for and see what happens. But it'll be a fun season. We got a lot of every season is different. Every team adds new people, have different dynamics. But it'll definitely be interesting to watch this division and all these divisions at the same time. But with that, we are gonna wrap up our NFL division breakdowns. Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. As always, subscribe, let everyone know about us. Tell your friends, grandparents, parents, cousins, aunties, uncles, whatever. Let everyone know. Smash that like button. Always comment. Let us know what you guys think. Let us know your division winners too. If you think the Patriots are gonna come back, think the Dolphins shot. If you think, let us know who you think the Jets are gonna pick for their new QB.
Mhm.
Let us know. Let us know. Um, but yeah, we're gonna sign out. Thank you guys for tuning in. See y'all later.
Deuces. Doses.